Hi Leo, welcome to June. It's eclipse season. It's also retrograde season. This month is important for you because the solar eclipse is the biggest thing astrologically really that can happen in Leo, the sun being your ruler. The thing to remember about June is that you are very vulnerable. You're very open, and there is a very thin line between what you feel and what other people feel, what you sense and what is really going on. You're very psychic this month. Use it wisely. Lead from the heart. Lean into it. There is a psychological vulnerability and openness to others, particularly others from your past. There is a sense of serendipity, there's a sense of events, situations, coincidences that you can't always explain but you can feel. This month you're kind of like a Pisces. And I think for a lot of Leos, particularly Leo rising people, there is a door to the past so very open, so very ready to be explored. There's a lot of serendipitous signs, there's a lot of coincidences. As I say, there's a lot of things wanting your attention. There is a lot of moments where you think, could it be? Yes. Everything this month is a sign. And as we lead into Cancer season, there's a big sense of soul purpose. What's meant to be, will be. And with Venus still retrograde in Gemini, in your 11th house of wishes, I think for a lot of you, many doors are open, both to the past, the future. And then there's also this need to protect yourself. There's also this need to not let anything that is toxic and unhealthy be invasive, not to let anyone or anything that is very hurtful to you, very compromising in your own happiness, not to let anything like that seep in. So how do you be vulnerable and protect yourself at the same time? Read the signs. You will know. You think you don't. You will try to hack away at it with reason, with logic, as many Leos do. Surprisingly. Especially when you have a lot of Virgo in your chart. A lot of Leos fear the unseen. They don't like the shadows, they're used to the light. Yet it is the sun that is responsible for the shadows. So you could do with having a little look at your own. A little look at your own shadow side. Star. Magic. Serendipity. Wishes. Every time I see this card, I get that Pinocchio song in my head of when you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. Serendipity. What is calling? What is making its presence known? Could it be a creative passion that suddenly sparks momentum? Where you get to show off what you can do, where you get to show off your talents, where you get to show off your creativity, where your children get to do that? Queen of Pentacles. Is it with an earth sign, a Taurus, Virgo, a Capricorn? Or where is it that you can market yourself to turn your passions, your hobbies into something that can be monetized? I think for a lot of you, you have a creative passion that has maybe for quite a while gone unnoticed or gone unused. A lot of you have this beautiful creativity that I so often see you ignore for financial consistency. It's kind of as though many Leos are so much more creative than they realize. I think again, it's those of you with Virgo in your chart where you want to be of service. You can oftentimes confuse serving as being valued for your talents. A lot of you are very anxious about success. A lot of you are very anxious about what you can do with something or how well something is going to work out, particularly if it's related to the past. Particularly if it is someone from the past, somebody. You're worried about how successful it can be, where it can go. Can it be reconciled? Temperance. Particularly if you're dealing with a Scorpio or a Sagittarius, you have a lot of thoughts about that. A lot of things are playing on your mind. The 12th house will do that to you. Oftentimes when people get stuck in an anxious state, particularly a fixed sign, it can be quite dangerous because you can really focus on it. And in trying to find a solution right there and then, you can oftentimes get very stuck. Because certain things, particularly when the 12th house is at play, certain things cannot be seen, but they can be felt. And you can have this feeling deep within you that something's going to work out or something's going to play out a certain way, and yet you can doubt yourself because you can't see it right there and then. 6 of Wands. Can it be successful? Judgment. Can it be resurrected? Temperance. Can it be healed? Particularly those of you that are dealing with a water sign, there is a deep sense of reflection. And a lot of the time, we have trouble with water signs because they're so reflective. You know, relationships with water signs are an opportunity to go very deep with somebody, but also to see what's going on deeply within ourselves, to see what's reflected back at us. That's why judgment is this mirror. It's reflective, making a decision based on what we see within ourselves, reevaluating who we are, reevaluating why we do certain things, why we behave a certain way, and how we can reconcile the conflicting sides of our nature. One that wants to be adored and one that does not want to be challenged. That's sometimes where you find yourself hard to reconcile certain behaviors. You can so quickly feel that a compromise is a challenge. And perhaps that's where your anxiety lies. However, with Temperance, you're playing this game this month of, can you reconcile the fire with the water? Can you be an alchemist of a situation? Can you resurrect something that has not been working, something that has not been successful, and make it so? If it does not disappear with the eclipse in Sagittarius, the answer is probably yes. The eclipse in Sagittarius being in such a creative part of your sky, being in such a romantic part, such a heart-centered part, Leo, suggests that in many ways that which you wish to resurrect in your life has some importance in your success. And I think for a lot of you it's romantic, but in many senses creative. Can you resurrect a love relationship that is dying off to make it successful? Maybe. If if it exists after the eclipse, I think there's a healthy chance. But if it costs you your security, and it costs you your freedom, and it costs you your sense of self-worth, then I think it's something else. Something very, very interesting. Four of Cups, Wheel of Fortune. Something you rejected could come back to you. Someone that rejected you could come back to you. Fate has some very interesting stuff going on for Leos. Very interesting indeed. I think for many of you there is romance that could be long term. I think for many of you there is a need to go down a new path and go down it quickly. Chariot, Two of Wands. Cancer season, you see yourself zooming zooming down a new path of creativity, of pleasure, of excitement. And for many of you, your creativity could bring you something very, very, very stable. More fulfilling emotionally, more financially fulfilling, more exciting. And for a lot of you in love, again, where you're resurrecting something or whether you're making big changes in your relationship, I think for a lot of you it is pretty nice. For some of you, though, the eclipse in Sagittarius was always going to be an ending, right? It was always going to be eclipsing out that which was no longer working. It was intense aspects to Pisces and to Gemini, where certain wishes were just not meant to be, where certain mergers were just not meant to be. It just fell flat. But people from your past, situations from your past, Leo, have still got stuff for you. Temperance, Page of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, very much healing energies. For some of you it's to set you free to move on to the next thing. For others of you it is resurrection of something that you thought was long gone. And perhaps, quite simply, that's a part of yourself that you thought you'd lost, which is just as important. There is a need this month for you to deeply trust in something bigger than you, to read the signs, to feel the feelings, to understand the synchronicities, to understand the way things are working out, and to go with them and enjoy the ride, because it looks like a lot of fun. The Four of Cups, he is so reluctant to accept an offer. He's so reluctant to see beyond it. Maybe because he's happy with what he has, or maybe because he fears change, or maybe because he fears what's in the cup. His motivations are never entirely clear. In the Four of Cups, all we know is that he's rejecting something. Your motivations become very clear. The universe's intentions for you become very clear this month. In the astrology, in the cards, whatever way you look at it, you're to read the signs. You're to understand that being vulnerable is not weak. To be open is not to be obvious. And to be compromising is not to lose a battle. Do you want war? Do you want peace? We'll get into it in the extended. Bye, Leo.